Speaking of which, there's a note from Candy and Tonya from Newcastle Gentlemen's Club. There's an unsettled bar tab, Pete. But the father of the bride, Pete Halliday.
All I can say is thank God that it was only a bar tab that was outstanding. I thought it was quite a bit more. Actually, from that trip, I better just check I haven't got any cucumber on my shoulder. Party, 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 party. What a great day. What a happy day for us as a family and everybody here. Katie and you know what they want, don't they? And this is so them. To be here with all their friends and their family and all the rest of it. It's a super occasion. We're looking around the place. I can see so many people, obviously, big crowd here. But I did see on the guest list before an early version of the guest list, Bangladesh Cycle Club. And I sort of said to the guys, I said, well, how many people in the Bangladesh Cycle Club? I said, 88,000. I said, no, we're not going there. I thought I'd have to get Murrayfield or somewhere like that. No, lovely to see everybody here. And obviously, I see a lot of familiar faces over there from the stag do. And the last time I was with them was in one of these singing booths above Tiger, and we had no clothes on, basically. I'd never been to a stag do for 35 years, and it was probably the last one I'll ever go to. I'm still suffering. So, who else can I see around there? The Havoc Gang. The Havoc Gang. Well done, they've made it up from there. And then the families, where are all the families? Wonderful. And here we have Sandy and Deborah, who we've thoroughly enjoyed, Jan and I thoroughly enjoyed getting to know over recent time. And of course, working through to Jan, my lovely wife, who has really been responsible for our daughter. And it's been, but I got to tell you, it's been great being Katie's dad. And isn't she looking amazing today? I thought she was going to turn up in Lycra, to be honest. Here you go. And here we are. I mean, they do things their own way, and that's fantastic. And Jan and I sort of knew that, had a feeling that things would happen, the wedding would happen in Scotland. And you and a proud Scot, and Katie, always up for a good ceilidh. And so here we are in this wonderful place, and it's not just that, but it's also wearing the gear, We have an opportunity to do it, guys, so we've done it. And I think pretty much everybody, there's an amazing turnout from all over the country, not just Scotland, in terms of wearing the Scottish coat. And I'm enjoying it, to be honest. The first time I've driven one of these. It sort of needs a bit of a license, doesn't it? Because first of all, you've got to work out how to put it on and all the rest of it. And Marty the Kiltman, he said, Pete, your father of bride, you can go really off-piste with this. You don't need it. Anyway, we tried a few on, and they're a bit dodgy, to be honest. There was a Halliday tartan, I think, and the Halliday tartan was very yellow and a bit odd, so I didn't really like that one. And anyway, we eventually settled on one, and then he went on to these comedy sporrans. They're fantastic, aren't they, these comedy sporrans? A man bag. I remember having one of these back in the 80s. It was sort of very... I don't know what you put in them, but you know, anyway, anything goes. Anyway, first one he came out was he said, you'll like this one. He said this is a skunk. I thought, a skunk, they're a bit smelly, aren't they? Oh, so I didn't want that one. Anyway, we settled on this natty little white rabbit one that he tried to sort of fob off as a polar bear. A bit of a dodgy character, this one. Anyway, that's all well and good, but to be honest with you guys, something's missing, isn't it? Something is missing. Some piece of clothing is missing. Okay. Something perhaps that sums up a little bit more where Katie comes from, down on the south coast, and all her swashbuckling adventures in her early life. And the fact that her dad actually thinks he's a pirate. So I haven't got enough of these to go round, but what I do want to hear, because the decibels have been going up, is a good pirate greeting from everybody in the room. This starts out with the letter R. Let's hear it again. That's really good, isn't it? That's fantastic. I think they've got it. That's brilliant. It's fantastic because now I feel like we have merged and fused our families, and we are in fact Scottish pirates. Oh, there we go. So, Ewan, I've got you a manual on how to run Cadence, okay? And I'll give you this afterwards. It's got a lot of technical detail, such as how to start the batteries when they run down and all the rest of it. Anyway, there's some stuff in that. It's really to remind me what I'm going to say. I'll tell you what. In here are my glasses. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah. So it's my delight to propose the toast to Katie and Ewan today. For that, a little bit about my amazing daughter Katie. Many people have said to me along the way what a lovely young woman Katie is. Using superlatives such as the happiest, the smiliest, the most positive, hardworking, compassionate, mischievous, fun and up for anything, adventurous, of course, and most lately, inspirational. Well, I'm sure we could all add more. Truly, she's a joy to be around and always has been. So where did this come from? Stand up, Jan. Stand up, Jan. Okay, boys. We're up against time. We need to start, actually, in Bulgaria. Katie is the happy result of a no-snow ski insurance guarantee from Thomas Cook. A hometown of Pamparova, high up in the Rhodope Mountains, had no snow at this particular juncture. But the payout from the holiday insurance guaranteed much local sparkling vino and partying amongst the pines. One thing led to another and ... 9 months later, Katie arrived, joined this world at Poole General Hospital on the same day that Princess Diana visited. our very own princess arrived on the scene smiling and hasn't stopped smiling since. We were besotted with our gorgeous little girl. She was a very easy, smiley baby who never really cried. So after 5 weeks, we felt confident enough to take her on her first adventure. This was up to the Lake District. We bundled her in the car, took her up, and in my haste, I'd forgotten to book anywhere to live, and it was bank holiday, and there was nowhere. There was no room at the inn. So we eventually found a place, and the landlady said, no babies, they cry too much. And so we said, well, our baby doesn't cry. And so anyway, after a lot of persuasion, we did let her in, and sure enough, Katie bawled all night long. When Johnny arrived a couple of years later, Katie was overjoyed. And brother and sister have always provided wonderful mutual support, as well as a continuous dose of hilarity for their mum and dad. Growing up by the sea in Hamble was a fabulous environment for Katie to spread her wings. Continuous outdoor activities, a wide circle of friends, and of course the love and support of the Havoc families, many of whom are here today. Hooray! Well done. All played their part in developing the outlook and activities Katie began to adopt. Katie honed her many talents over these early years, mentored throughout by her equally amazing mum. Under Jan's expert encouragement and guidance, Katie has grasped the nettle of everything going. A grade 8 pianist by the age of 15 takes a lot of focus and hard work to achieve, as well as natural talent. Katie has applied the same aptitude to the work ethic to many other aspects of her life, from sports to career. Much of this advanced coaching I would have overlooked in my nonchalant manner. But one point over which I did have an influence was developing Katie's competitive edge. Something that I understand Ewan has witnessed to his detriment on rival occasions at various times since. Aged around 5 and taking part in her first junior school sports day, heading for the finish line at the front of a field of runners in the 30-metre dash, Katie stopped abruptly in the middle of the track, turned and waited, whilst the rest of the field caught her up and ever so politely followed them across the line. Well, you can imagine, Dad was pretty worried about this potentially harmful and disastrous trait. So he called his daughter over and delivered a trademark mini lecture, nipping it in the bud, and was happy to note that with egg and spoon, wheelbarrow and sack races complete, Katie picked up Sports Girl of the Year and never seems to have looked back since. Thank you, boys. You got it. An early ethos Jan and I instilled for our family was a love and a thirst for adventure. Adventures have always been part of our lives, and anything we did was labelled at least a mini-adventure. Even the things we weren't really looking forward to, like a trip to Tesco's or school evenings, you know, one of those things where you go and meet the teachers. But somehow they were turned into fun outings. Opting for the bright lights of schooling in Winchester, Katie was offered carte blanche when it came to school trips, something she was never shy to say yes to, and I'm sure this contributed further to her adventurous outlook. Aged somewhere around 16, Katie announced to the family that she was aware she had grown up as a dutiful and helpful daughter, but was now going out into the wider world to find out what it had to offer. Always a tricky time, this, isn't it? You know, teenagers. Katie announced to the family, right. So Jan, Johnny and I were petrified, really, at such independence, yet complicit in its formation. So we waited to see with bated breath, to see what would happen. There were boys. There were late nights and broken curfews. All in all, it was a bit of a roller coaster. But things didn't totally derail, and her grades stayed on track, and she found herself heading towards Loughborough. Okay, boys. It was at Loughborough that things really started to become a bit hazy, or at least under the radar as far as we were concerned. We picked up snippets from afar, only a little concerned that academic achievement was in serious danger of being usurped by a continuous round of further adventures. Here, amongst various tales of mischief, daring-do, and oh so many fancy dress parties, she met her dashing Scottish laird. Embarked upon a similar trajectory. Jan recalls her first impressions of Ewan on a visit home by Katie soon after they met. "Hey Mum, I've got a new boyfriend," she exclaimed to Jan's always keen interest. "He's from Scotland. His name's Ewan, and he's great." Not being enough for Jan, she was asked to produce a photo of her new beau. Katie offered a nervous snigger and said, "Prepare yourself, Mum," before producing a photograph of Ewan dressed in nothing but a strategically placed football as Mr. February entry for Loughborough Charity Calendar. Jan, as you can imagine, was very pleased to see this, and more than eager to accept Ewan into the Halliday fold before ever even meeting him face to face. Since then, some 10 years ago, the dynamic force of these two young people working and playing together has been evident for all to see. It's always going to be a fairly seismic coupling, and we've not been disappointed. The families knew about this wedding about 10 months before Katie. Ewan did the decent thing, popped down to Hamble and asked us for permission to marry her. It was very difficult for Jan to keep it a secret for so long, but gagging did the trick. And the eventual proposal, 9 months and 18,000 kilometres into their world cycle, was the stuff of Greek legend. How Ewan could manage to engineer a Greek odyssey on a very flashy yacht in a romantic cove with seas specially calmed by Neptune himself. That was me, by the way. And then to deliver the most awesome proposal speech in front of his mother, his brother, the future mother-in-law, the father-in-law, the brother-in-law, as well as the brother-in-law's gorgeous girlfriend, was simply brilliant. Fortunately, Katie said yes. If she hadn't, I would have. I've been to Newcastle, you know. It's also worth noting that despite the anxious moments parents have when kids are out on a limb, we always felt totally confident in Ewan to deliver on his promise to bring Katie back from their world cycle safely. Though he did admit that she probably could have done it quite happily on her own. I don't think she would have had as much fun, though. Before our eyes, Ewan and Katie have formed an amazing team. Strong individually and stronger still together. Well prepared now for life's onward journey together. Because of their natures, they've also amassed a very large circle of friends. And so, on behalf of a very proud mum and dad, we are delighted to welcome Ewan to our family, just as we hope Deborah and Sandy, who we've thoroughly enjoyed getting to know, are happy to receive Katie. We are all looking forward to the next instalments with anticipation and excitement. Somehow we have this feeling that it won't be normal. So let's raise a toast. Health, happiness, many more adventures, and who knows, maybe even at some stage soon, the Patterson of tiny feet. Ewan and Katie.
Somebody told me before today, they said, Ewan, marriage is all about being honest, telling the truth, being able to be honest with your partner and be honest with everyone else. And I thought that was kind of ironic, and I'll tell you why. Because when Kay and I were traveling for the last 6 months, for the last year, for about 6 months, we were in countries where it was actually illegal or highly culturally frowned upon to be traveling with a girl but not be married. And they would make us stay in separate rooms, so we thought, right, let's just say we're married. For the sake of ease, let's just say we're married. To avoid people feeling awkward when we're together, let's say we're married. So for about 6 months, people would always ask us the first question, are you married? And we'd say yes. And then they start asking us about our wedding. And at the start we said, oh, it was a very small affair, very quiet, yeah. We got married, yeah, it was fine. It was 1 year ago, and yeah, we're good now. But then gradually it got more and more extravagant, and by the end we said, yeah, it was amazing. There was like hundreds of people there, and yeah, there were like elephants and all sorts, and depending on the country, they'd say, oh, and like, did you have this random ceremony that we have in this country? And we'd be like, yeah, like we threw paint, it was great. So anyway, ironically, I've lied, we both lied to pretty much everyone we've met for 6 months about being husband and wife. So it's fantastic today to be able to say with honesty that I'd love to introduce Katie, my wife. So we're gonna try something a bit different with this speech. So we're gonna try something a bit different. So there's lots and lots of people I have to thank in this room, and for the sake of it not going on for the whole night, we're not gonna do any clapping. Okay, we're not gonna do any clapping. No clapping. So, get out of the system. Get out of the system. Get out of the system. So what we're going to do instead, right, I'm going to thank people, and I'm going to say, thank you, so-and-so, and I want everybody to repeat after me, thank you, so-and-so. So I'm going to start by doing a trial run, right? I'm going to start by thanking, so Andrew Scott, our catering team, and the bar team have been absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to say, thank you, catering and bar team, and I want everyone to repeat after me, thank you, catering and bar team. Okay, you've got it. No clapping. No. We've got to keep momentum, right? So, the guys have been great. And when I thank said person or people, I want them to stand up and take the glory and have a drink, and they can finish it if they want, but they don't have to, okay? Have to. So first of all, I want to say thank you to everybody for coming today. We've got people coming from all corners. We've got people coming from Edinburgh, from Aberdeen, people driving from the Midlands, people driving from London. We've got people flying from London, and I want to say an especially big thank you to Katie's friends and family from Hamble down south, right on the south coast. You guys have made an especially big effort to be here, so I really appreciate it. It's fantastic. Within those guys, I want to say a massive thank you to 3 people who've driven up, and they've been here since Thursday night helping set up. So that is Charles, Lizzie and Annie. So thank you, Charles, Lizzie and Annie. Stand up, take the glory, take the glory, take the glory. Brilliant. I want to say thank you to a few other people. So 2 of our friends who I'm especially excited to see on the dance floor later on. They told Kate and I before tonight, we've never both been away from the kids before, so we're going to be going mental tonight. So from all the way from Amsterdam, I want to say thank you, Lucy and Dan. Fantastic. I want to say thank you to one of Katie's bridesmaids who not only for this weekend, but on weekends for the past 6 months has been coming here all the way from Germany, which is amazing. So all the way from Hamburg, I want to say thank you, Celine. Take the glory. I want to say thank you to 2 brothers and sisters who have come all the way from Thailand and Mexico. I think I'm right in saying. Is that right? Yeah? So I want to say thank you to the Lomers. Stand up. Alex, stand up. Take the glory, have a drink. Yeah, brilliant. I want to say a massive thank you to one person who's come a tremendously long way. He's come all the way from Australia, believe it or not, which is incredible effort. So I want everyone to say thank you, Nico. He loves the glory. He loves the glory. Sit down now, mate. Sit down. Brilliant. So a night like this could not have happened without the help of a high number of people who have been very much involved and have helped make today and the last few days what it's been, and it's been absolutely incredible. So I want to start off by thanking the people who were involved last night, and particularly my dad, Jackie and Irene, and I know there were others, but these were the main protagonists who cooked food for everybody, served it, and somebody commented to me last night and they said, your caterers were great. And I said, they're not professional caterers, that's my dad. So collectively they're known as Sandy's Kitchen. So I want to say, where's Irene? Oh, Sandy. So I want to say thank you, Sandy's Kitchen. Brilliant. So this morning, I don't know well, I know a lot of people here sampled it, but the breakfast this morning was absolutely fantastic. It was brilliant. Louis can attest. I see Sarah's agreeing as well. So I want to say thank you to all the guys that helped out this morning. It was brilliant. So especially Pete, Charles, Steve, who else was involved? Paul, Rob, and Mark, I believe, collectively known as the Havoc Dads. Thank you, Havoc Dads. Stand up, take the glory. Brilliant. And so I want to preemptively thank some people and put the pressure on a little bit. So tomorrow breakfast is going to be served by Rab and and the other Rab. Where's the other Rab? Where's the other Rab? There he is. And where's Will? Will's helping out as well. Yeah, you said you're helping out. So the guys collectively are doing the Survivors Breakfast. I want to say thank you, Survivors Breakfast. Fantastic. So one other food-related thank you. Katie's auntie has collated cheeses, which were there and have now been moved through there, and will be available after this speech. So she's made some massive effort. She's got cheeses that relate to all sorts of meaningful places from Katie's past. So there's a cheese from Cornwall, which represents Katie's uncle. There's a cheese from France, which represents Katie's auntie, and cheese from Yorkshire, which is where her family's from. So I want to say a massive thank you to Auntie Sue. Thank you, Auntie Sue. Amazing. Brilliant. And so the ceremony today was incredible. Genuinely one of the best moments of my life. It was absolutely magical. So I want to thank everyone involved with that. So I'm going to start with the man who played the bagpipes and made it a truly Scottish occasion. He was brilliant. Thank you, Alexander. I want to say thank you to my main man, who's been playing guitar non-stop. He played last night, he played tonight, he played at the ceremony. I want to say thank you, Owen. I want to say thank you to two of Kate and I's friends who we asked to do a reading, and they absolutely delivered. It was a fantastic poem, and we absolutely loved it. So thank you guys. I want to say thank you, Lucy and Tricky. However, I want to say thank you to two people who upstaged Lucy and Tricky. And they did an absolutely amazing job. I want to say a massive thank you to Scarlett and Louis. Thank you, Louis. Thank you. I think Louis is playing football. But we'll thank him later. So, in addition, I also want to thank all the mini ushers and all the mini bridesmaids. So, the mini bridesmaids, we had Scarlett, we had Maisie, and we had Emma. And the mini ushers, we had Benjamin, we had Louis, and Ivy, and we also had Isla, who's the other one. 7 in total. So, collectively known as mini ushers and bridesmaids. Thank you, mini ushers and bridesmaids. Amazing, great job team. So I'm going to move on now, and I want to thank the real kind of core of the wedding planning party. So first of all, I'm going to start with Katie's bridesmaids. So you guys did an absolutely amazing job from what I gather with Katie's hen do. She was absolutely, she was so happy with it and she thought it was amazing. You managed to combine 3 of Katie's top 4 things, the outdoors, boozing and badgers, with me coming in 4th. However, I don't know whose idea it was to do trampolining the night after a heavy boozing session. Celine, I think it was you. I think you can drink for that. But seriously, Celine, I just want to say thank you so much for all the sort of support you've given to both Katie and I. And I know you're a highly successful businesswoman, flying around all corners of Europe, speaks 3 languages, absolutely amazing. However, if you ever want Celine to do anything, I know the secret. And I know because all you have to do if you ever want Celine to do anything is feed her some chocolate Baileys. And I know this because one night Celine came round to Katie and I's house and Katie said, "Oh, do you want to try this chocolate Baileys?" And Celine said yes. And then within literally about 5 minutes, Katie had talked her into doing a half Ironman triathlon. Celine had never done one before, but she had some Baileys and she was like, yeah. And she did it 6 months later. It was amazing. So thank you, Celine. I want to say thank you to Alice for, and this is quoting Katie, not me, but I want to say thank you to Alice for helping Katie with girly stuff, like shoes and hair and makeup, and you're the life and soul of the Party Skays, and you've been a major member of the team. So I want to say thank you, Alice. And finally, I want to say thank you to Maddie. And Maddie, Maddie's, anybody that knows Maddie will know how committed Maddie is and how much she loves to get involved and how generous she is with her time. But when Maddie offered to get involved in our wedding, she said, "Oh, I'd love to get involved." We said, "Okay, that's great. Like, it'd be awesome if you've got amazing handwriting. If you could write the place names, that'd be brilliant." And so she wrote the place names for every single guest on this beautiful card. And she said, "Well, I'd love to do other stuff as well." And anyway, from there it escalated, and she ended up doing the place names, the amazing programs, the map. She did a painting, which was on our invite, which was up there. Don't clap yet, don't clap yet, don't clap yet. She did the dorm plans, she did the table plans, she did all the signage, the toilets, the bar, everything. She's been involved in absolutely everything. And I want to do a bit of audience participation now. So I want anybody to raise their hand if they've ever received a handmade card from Maddie. This week. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? And actually, all the people who haven't, you'll be receiving one on Monday from Maddie saying how happy is she's met you. And just that, I hope you had a safe journey home. But genuinely, Maddie. But Maddie, I just want to genuinely thank you and say, Katie and I really appreciate the help you put into this wedding, and we really appreciate your friendship, and you're one of the most genuine, heartfelt, hardworking, and conscientious, and just talented and amazing people we know. So I want everyone jump and say thank you, Maddie. See y'all. Okay, I'm going to move on to the groomsmen now. So I'm going to start with Johnny, who's Katie's brother, for those of you who don't know him. So Johnny I always knew was a great guy, but he solidified it when one New Year he came up for Hogmanay, which is New Year in Edinburgh, and him and his girlfriend Deb came up, and they came round to my mum Deb's house, and we had some pre-drinks in my mum Deb's kitchen. There's about 40-odd people. We were all having a great time. Pre-drinks going amazing, and we were going to an event at the Edinburgh Corn Exchange. And then we turned up, and we rocked up, and the guy said, we were there for our haggis supper, which is obviously the tea, and the guy said, "No, we finished serving food, there's no more food." And all the guys, about all 30, 40 people, were absolutely devastated. And we argued with the people, we tried to negotiate, they weren't having any of it. So anyway, we kind of sat down, and we were like really gutted. Oh, it's a bit of a dampener on our year for 2013 or whatever it was. And anyway, About 10 minutes later, Johnny comes strolling round the side of the back of house, followed by about 10 catering staff, each carrying 2 massive plates of food, feeding the entire troop. And he managed to go behind the stage and negotiate with the manager to feed all the guys. And since then, he's gone down in folklore. So I want to say thank you, Johnny. I want to say thank you to Stuart and Niall. Stuart and Niall, for just generally being great guys and being my friends for a long time, for 25 odd years. I don't know how long, and I could say that about a lot of people in this room, that they've been great friends to me, but generally, you guys are awesome, and you've been a massive help with today and the build up to today. However, I think you should also be thanking me, because as two highly eligible single bachelors, I'm hoping you can use your groomsman status to get some luck later on. So thank you, Stuart and Niall. And I want to finish by thanking my best man, who I was practicing this speech in the kitchen when I was cooking the other night, and I got a bit emotional because Robbie, we've just shared so many good times together, and I really appreciate your friendship, and yeah, you've been an awesome best man and a brother throughout the years, so thank you, Robbie. Okay, I'm going to move on to the dads. So I'm going to come on to the dads now. So I'm going to start with my dad, Sandy. So Sandy, I've already spoken about the catering on Friday night, which was absolutely fantastic. And what everyone saw was my dad slaving away in the kitchen from 5 p.m. or whenever you arrived. But he was actually in there from 9 a.m. all day. And actually, in the 6 months prior to that, he's been prepping and perfecting his bean and chili recipe. And he's also been crafting his rice and tatty recipe to make sure it's absolutely spot on. And that is just typical of my dad. I said, "Oh, Dad, do you fancy cooking on the Friday night?" And he goes, "Yeah, I can do that." I was like, "Okay, it's quite a big job. It's about 160 people." And he goes, "That's fine." And then I didn't hear from him. And then he came back and he said, "Yeah, it's sorted." And it's absolutely typical. And Dad, I just want to genuinely thank you for that and for everything for the last 29 odd years, for always turning up to my football and giving me, Stuart, and all the guys a lift to everywhere. And me and Katie a lift to Comrie and all the way around Scotland, and also for receiving various medical related phone calls at odd hours of the night. And for always being calm and for sorting us out. So I know your favourite whiskies are the West Coast smoky whiskies, so I have a special gift here. It's from Isla. It's Lagavulin. There you go. So we're going to move on to talk about the other dad. So that's Pete, my new father-in-law, and I thoroughly enjoyed Pete's speech. It was fantastic, and if I'm talking about the effort that people have gone into to making today happen, Pete has gone the extra mile. He drove up in his massive camper van, couriering a load of alcohol and an assortment of other bits and bobs, including fairy lights, rugs, foliage, flowers, anything you could imagine, all the way up from the south coast of England. He's been to massive efforts. He's been dealing with Sandra and Alan, the bar guys. He's done a massive amount of work to make today what it is. And Pete, I want to genuinely thank you for welcoming me into your family. And in return, I want to reciprocate. So in Scotland, it's tradition to when you're welcoming someone into the family to give a gift. And I've got here a quaich, which is a Scottish word for it's a special gift, and it's a sign of friendship and of welcoming someone into their family. So I'm going to gift this to you. It's engraved with the day of Kate and I's wedding.
Oh, bless you.
So there you go. That's for you. And we're actually going to do a little. Pete, you're right. We're going to do a little ceremony right now. So, Dad, and I haven't teed my dad up for this, but we're going to do a little ceremony. So, Dad, I would love for you to share some of your new whiskey with Pete. So you can give Pete some of your Lagavulin. Here we go, Pete. And this is the sign of friendship. It's good luck as well. Cheers. And now, Sandy, you drink. Hey! Classic Sandy. Fantastic. Okay, I'm going to move on to the mums now. So I'm going to start with my mum, Debs. So Debs, Mum, I want to thank you for everything you've done to make today happen. So you did a great job with the cake and with generally ferrying Katie and I up here on various occasions. And just generally, you always come and pick Katie and me up, and it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's literally every time we come up. And we always come up to Edinburgh at a horrible hour. It's always 11:45 p.m. we arrive. And you always come and get us from the train station or the airport. And you always have I often say to my mum, oh, I've got a few friends who want to come up to Edinburgh. Can we crash at yours? And it ends up being about 20 people at Deb's. Hands up if you've ever stayed at Deb's house. Yeah, exactly, and that sums up. And when Katie and I said, oh, we're going to go to Arran for a few days before the ceremony, my mum went there and she got rid of all the feathers, which Katie's allergic to, did a whole sweep round, and that's classic, and my mum always goes the extra mile. And so, Mum, I really just want to thank you for that, and I also want to thank you for everything you've done, not only for me, but also for Robbie, Rosie and Sam, my other brothers and sisters, and also for your 5 grandchildren who are all here tonight. We really appreciate everything that you do. And although I moaned at you when I was a kid for being embarrassing a lot, but what I realise now is that you were teaching me that it's important to moan at people when they litter on the ground and when they do things that aren't right, and that's something you really told me. So I want to say thank you. So I'm now going to come on to Jan, Katie's mum. So Jan, I want to say I'm not famed for being a highly creative mind, and when somebody tried to explain to me what the flower situation was and the lighting, I kind of like half got it, but I was like, yeah, it sounds good. But I didn't fully understand how unbelievable this place would look, and it's like nothing I've ever seen before. This room is absolutely incredible, and Jan has absolutely masterminded it, from the flower decorations to Katie's bouquet. Jan booked on a floristry course to learn how to make flowers, and then taught the rest of Katie and the bridesmaids how to do it. So you've done an absolutely fantastic job with that, and I also just want to say it's really clear where Katie gets her friendliness, her warmth, her kindness, and it all clearly comes from you. So I really just want to say thank you, Jan. So we wanted to thank the mums in some ways, so we thought they both love gardening and they both love flowers and plants, so we've got 2 plants here, which, Helleborus, my Latin's not great. Yeah, they're 2 plants and they're both from Common Croft, so they've both been grown here, and we thought you could take them home and plant them in your respective gardens, and it's a reminder of the wedding and a thank you from Katie and I, so thank you very much. So I'm going to finish, I'm going to wrap up now, and there's just one more person I'd like to thank, and it's my new wife, Katie. So Katie, I just want to say I'm so happy to be married to you, and I'm so excited to spend the rest of our lives together, and a lot of it has been said, but you're the most happy and positive and kind and caring person that I know, and one story that really sums this up, which I thought it would be nice to share, is when Katie and I were living in London. Every night Katie comes back and she's happy as, and she's smiley, and she's really excited. And one night she came back and she was almost in tears, and she was so sad and she was almost crying. And I was like, Kate, what's going on? And she was walking in like this, and she went, my hands are so cold. And she'd cycled home, and when you cycle home and when you're riding in the really cold, it bites your hands and it feels like they're going to fall off. And she said, my hands are so cold, I feel like I'm going to cry. I was like, but Kate, what happened to your brand new gloves you just got for Christmas or whatever, these amazing ski cycling gloves? And she was like, well, I was leaving work in Holborn, and it was so cold and the snow was coming down, and I was walking past this homeless guy and he looked so cold and I got so sad, so I gave him my gloves. And then I cycled home. And that's a true story. And that sums up. So I just want to close by just saying thank you, Katie, and I'm really excited to be married to you, and I hope everyone has a fantastic night. It's going to be absolutely banging here, so cheers. So I think dessert is going to be served now, so cheers. Go get some drinks.
The last person I introduced, well, technically was Pete, obviously, as I introduced you slightly before him, and I said that he was one of the main men from the stag do there. It is now my absolute pleasure, as we move on to the best man speech, to introduce the absolute main man from the stag do, Sandy. Yes, you but no, genuinely guys, the weekend in Newcastle, we can all agree was absolutely phenomenal. Owen. Alright, Robbie, you might just have to shout it. Anyway, the weekend in Newcastle was absolutely phenomenal, and it wouldn't have been that case without the absolute military-style organisation from Robbie here. He had one incident with a BYOB in an Indian restaurant that had 0 curries available and no Indian food whatsoever, and all the stuff from Newcastle. But other than that, shocker, everything was absolutely brilliant that weekend. So guys, my absolute pleasure. Final speech of the evening, Robbie Patterson.
First of all, I'd just like to give a massive thanks to Stuart for being a fantastic MC tonight. So massive thanks to Stuart. Alright, well done Stuart, great job. What a fantastic celebration today. But I've also been made aware we do have a birthday in the house. Alright, so massive happy birthday to Kate. Everyone has happy birthday to Kate. Happy birthday, dear Kate. Happy birthday, dear Kate. Well done, Kate.
Thanks for coming.
Well done, Kate. Thanks for coming as well, Kate. So, I'd like to start this speech by going back to when me and Ewan were sitting on a boat in Greece the day after he proposed to Katie. It's safe to say his expectations were pretty high when he said to me, "Rab, I'm going to write the best speech of all time." He then turned to me and said, "Yours better not be shit." So Ewan, I hope I can do this justice. He also said later that day, when I asked him for some help with an application, yeah, I've actually never written a bad job application. So if anyone's looking for some help, Ewan's your man. For those of you who don't know, I'm Robbie, Ewan's brother. I'm the one who grew up with Ewan, copying every craze. The one who took the brunt of his teenage rampages. The one who witnessed but did not copy the many hairstyles, including the curtains, the spikes, and more recently the Roger Federer. As the one who went through school known as Mini Patterson. The one who fought over serving sizes at all meal times. I think the I cut, you choose rule that Mum introduced was one of the best. But most importantly, the one who's incredibly proud to have a big brother who I can look up to and to have enjoyed some incredible times with. So to go back to the start, you and I grew up 90% of the time playing football in the street, climbing trees, or kicking about in the park. When we weren't doing this, there was always another craze that kept us occupied. Most notably was the WWE wrestling, in which this was 99% Ewan practicing his wrestling moves on me. I particularly blame Robert McLeod for this fascination. And I'm pretty sure he still watches it. Other crazes that kept us occupied included Pogs, Beanos, Tintin, Calvin and Hobbes, many hours spent in the Warhammer shop. Our Panini football albums, of which anyone would be proud of our collection. And then still got it. So we've still got every album. And then there was a Pro Evolution Soccer PlayStation game. Now this was a particularly tough time for Ewan, as it was the one thing I was as good as him at. And the competition started getting a bit more intense. We started betting 50 pence on each game. However, losing to Ewan resulted in me getting pinned down and punched. Sorry, I just said that wrong. Winning against Ewan would result in me getting pinned down again and getting punched. So that led to me having a difficult decision every night. Do I win the game, gain 50p but get punched? Or do I let Ewan win, lose 50p? All right, and a definite tough decision considering the addiction I had for buying junk food at the time. Another of Ewan and I's hobbies was writing to football teams all over Scotland and England. In fact, Ewan would do most of the writing and sometimes let me sign my name at the bottom. The mail we got back was incredible. Handwritten letters, signatures, photographs, programmes from teams all across Scotland and England. Most notable are 2 letters, both written in 1997. The first is from Scotland football manager Craig Brown, the last manager to take us to a World Cup, unfortunately. Craig writes, "Dear Ewan, thank you very much for your letter, which contains a great deal of interesting information about your favourite football teams and players. For a young man of 8 years old, you write exceptionally well. I'm happy to enclose an autograph sheet and team photograph from the Scotland team, which I trust will be of interest to you." And the second letter is from Scotland rugby captain Rob Wainwright, again written in 1997. "Dear Ewan, I'm writing to thank you for your recent letter. I especially like the drawing of yourself with big muscles. And he puts in quotes, big muscles. I hope that your little brother Robbie likes rugby as well as football, because I have enclosed 2 squad sheets and 2 posters. If Robbie isn't too much of a pest, you can give him a squad sheet and a poster too. Thank you for writing to me, Ewan. Yours sincerely, Rob Wainwright, Scotland captain." I'm sure Rob's just as happy with the Scotland-England result a few weeks ago. What was that, Ev? Nice one, Tricky. Sorry. Although for the majority of the time Ewan has been a good influence, there have been a few instances where his decisions have been slightly questionable. For example, the time he persuaded me to go on a run during the middle of the day on a holiday in Greece. Being about 14 at the time, I stupidly agreed. After 10 minutes, we were both absolutely toiling and went down to a bay that we found. Ewan then decided we should swim from one bay to another whilst holding our shoes above our heads. Again, another mistake. Halfway across, in the middle of the sea, both absolutely toiling, I seriously started panicking. Thankfully, Ewan managed to pull us across without me drowning, and more importantly, the shoes did not get wet. There was also the famous time in Mallorca, where on another holiday, we took the 2-bus trip to go to Magaluf, the famous Holy Grail that is Magaluf, to see some friends that Ewan had from university. Ewan 18, me 16, okay, what was shaped up to a big night, one of my first big nights out abroad. What started, without going into too much detail, what started as a great night ended in, well, I actually don't know. But the facts are that Ewan lost all the money, and there's photo evidence we did see DJ Sammy. On the flip side of Ewan being a bad influence, this has only been on very few occasions. Ewan and Katie are both a positive influence on not only me, our family, but everyone around them. They both love a challenge and have incredibly completed not only various marathons, Ironmans, charity cycles and tough guy races. Oh, and if you hadn't mentioned to you already, the cycle they did last year. It must be said that some of the challenges Ewan has entered us in have been quite ambitious. For example, and his expectations are always high. For example, entering Dad into the Lake Windermere swimming competition for his birthday. It's probably a good idea that Dad chose to swap this for a tough guy race. Although, Dad, I'm glad you're still here after surviving the electric fence, followed by Katie finding you running the wrong way, unable to speak with hypothermia. Katie, you look amazing tonight, and as do your bridesmaids. My first memory of you were when I came home from a night out, and you and Ewan were passed out on the floor next to Aga in the kitchen. From that weekend onwards, you've been part of our family, and it's been fantastic to make that official tonight. We've had many good times together. In Edinburgh, of course, over in Arran with Mum, in Hamble with the Hallidays, on the Isle of Wight with Craig David. Yeah. One of the best nights of all time. And the amazing boat trip in Greece last year in which Ewan proposed. As I said, it's been fantastic to make that official tonight, and I look forward to spending many more good times with you, Jan, Pete, Johnny, Debs, and the rest of your family and friends who it's been fantastic to meet tonight. And just to finish, as I know everyone is eager to get on the dance floor, Ewan, it's safe to say that you're not just my brother, but that I'm your best man. Sorry, I can't believe I'm crying over my brother. You have been and always will be my best mate and someone that I can rely on, not just to write my job applications. We have had many memorable, funny and emotional times together, and I'm sure there will be many more to come. There's a couple, one more paragraph. When I think about one of my favourite memories of you, I think back to our 24-hour trip to Poland to see Scotland play football. As it was my first trip with the Tartan Army, I was asked to stand up and sing a song. And as soon as I started, everyone joined in. So if everyone would stand up. Quiet, please. I don't think anything sums it up better than us in our kilts and having a good old sing-song. But first, I would like to propose a toast to you and Katie and a life of happiness with many more adventures to come. To you and Katie.